saw, turn the key and cool her on. Push a pause for relief. Free pass, you don't even have to ask to be the cat in the sun. Someday I will see the whole deal through today.
I started tidying up my desk and then I realised I really couldn't be bothered to tidy up my desk, so I just like gave up halfway. I really want to change up the studio ready for spring and do my back wall and everything. I even got sent a neon light, so I want to like do a wall mural. And actually when I was on my trip in Japan last week, I got so much inspiration because we went to a lot of character shops to do like research and have fun and get inspiration for Katnipp. And loads of the character shops had these characters dotted around, and we've had Ronnie the Roland, our printer, for a while now, and this year I want to put it to like good use. And I think the first step is creating little characters around the studio and stuff, like I seen in those character shops in Japan. And I also want to introduce a new product, which will be in next week's vlog, like developing a new product, and that is wall stickers. So if you seen my last vlog, you know that I actually created like this wall calendar, and I printed out my first set of stickers, which was using the removable vinyl roll that we got sent in. So I would really love to develop a range of wall stickers, and I've had loads of ideas in my head, but now I've got even more ideas after going to Japan and seeing these character shops, because I want to offer stickers where you can add characters to your space or your desk space, like on your wall, and create like this little world, immersive world of Katnipp in your home or on your desk. I want it for me, so I thought it'd be really cool to like do wall stickers, and we can do that with our printer. Anyway, and speaking of Roland, I'm actually heading on an event with them on Monday for 2 days. They're flying us out to Italy, Milan, and they invited us out to a Formula 1 racing track. We're gonna go on a short trip with them, which I'm really excited about. I said I wanted to slow down a bit more, but this is actually something that was booked before my New Year reflections and how I wanted to travel more slowly, or at least make time to bring in creativity again, like sketching and creating things out of joy rather than necessity. If you watched my last vlog where I talk about how I felt like I've lost myself a little bit in terms of like my creativity, I was kind of just producing products, and I used to just produce out of fun, and it's really since the business has been taken off and I've been pulled in all these different directions, which was totally my fault. I just kind of followed where I was going and experimented and explored with everything. I had a little less time to like create, so I thought what would be nice is actually bringing you guys along. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and take things a little bit more slow, but I'm going to take my sketchbook with me, and I'm just going to do some like doodles and stuff while I'm there and create this time of traveling rather than sitting and scrolling on my phone, because that's something that I actually do a lot. I sit and I scroll on my phone when I'm traveling. It's like a distraction, and I'm like constantly always like, I always feel like I'm just bombarded with loads of stuff all the time, and I want to stop that. I want to do more creating rather than consuming. I'm always on social media, or I'm always distracted, or I'm always moving or filming, and I want to just have moments where I actually feel bored, because I've noticed I haven't like felt bored for a long time, and I actually think it's very, very important to have these moments where you feel bored, because that's when creativity comes. And so I am going to take my sketchbook on this trip, and rather than browsing social media where I'm sat in the airport or in the hotel, I want to like get my sketchbook out. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll pack our sketchbooks together and I'll bring you guys along. And I also want to just notice a lot more around me. I remember doing this in Japan. I was sat on the subway and I looked around and everyone was on the phone. And me too, like I was on my phone too. And then I just took a moment to like put it down, and I was like just taking it all in, and that train journey felt so slow in the best way, and my mind started wandering and then creating stories in my head. And speaking of stories and books, have you seen all these children's books that I ended up buying from the works? So we have our studio in town, and I ended up going on a mad shopping spree of children's books to help me get inspired. And I want to sit down and like absorb all of the illustrations and read them all and look at all the little details that the artists have put into it. Because if you follow me on Instagram, in the gap between Christmas and New Year, just before we went to Japan, I ended up developing my first 4 children's books, like my first 4 Katnipp books. Something just like clicked in my head. I've actually had stories for Katnipp for a very, very long time. I've got other stories with other characters in the notes app on my phone. I've got one called Bugaboo and the Crow that's fully in detail. I know all the plot and everything. I've got Gingy and Spice's first Christmas book already in my head, and I just never felt like I was ready to publish my own first book in the world of Katnipp. As you guys might know, I already have done my first ever illustration book called The Dragon Diamond. I was commissioned back in, I think, 2019. You can actually see me developing those on this channel. Anyway, I was laid in bed, and this is why I think it's really important to slow down and notice the little things and not be distracted all the time, like through phones and stuff like that, because during this period I didn't look at my phone for about 2-3 days properly. I did this illustration of Bon Bon and Bumblebot ages ago, climbing a beanstalk, like inspired by Jack and the Beanstalk. And I was laid in bed, it was 1 AM, and I remember thinking about this story, the Bumblebot and the Beanstalk and Bon Bon, and then all of a sudden everything just started clicking into place. And I also did other illustrations that are actually going to be in this first book, but then I crafted like this whole story around it, and kind of like how Disney and Studio Ghibli have used old works of fairy tales, like Howl's Moving Castle was a Welsh author's book originally. I felt like really inspired by this old story of Jack and the Beanstalk, but told in my way and in the world of Katnipp. And then as I was imagining all this, my mind was like whirling away. I was in bed and it was like 1 AM, and then I thought of my second book. I was like, oh my gosh, and then it could carry on to this book. And I'm not going to give too many details away because obviously I want that to unfold as I develop them. And then the third book, and then the fourth book. So this will be a series of 4 books that are based in the seasons as well, because as you guys know, I really love seasonal shifts and changes, and a lot of my work and collections are based on the seasons. I'm very much someone who loves to be in tune with the seasons, and I love theming with the seasons as well. And these books will follow along on the season, and the first season starts in spring. So I don't think I'll be able to get obviously my first children's book ready for spring because that's only in a couple of months, but I really want to start developing them. So I had all these thoughts, and I remember just getting so excited, and I felt like this is it. These are the first 4 books that I should release in Katnipp, and I don't know if I'm going to self-publish them or reach out to publishers. I have an inkling that I'm probably going to self-publish them myself, and it's so ironic, you know, because writing children's books has been on my goal of my things to do every year for like the last 2 or 3 years. If you've been here on the channel for a long time, it's something that I've said that I've always wanted to do, but I've never felt ready, or I never felt like I had enough time to do it. I actually took it off my list of things to do this year when I was planning my whole productivity for 2025. I actually removed Illustrate My First Book off of my goals, and then suddenly I got this like just wave of inspiration in the first 4 books, and it just feels right. I just know that this is right. I can't explain it. And I remember as my mind was whirling, I got up and I grabbed my laptop and I was like typing away on my laptop, and then I heard my brother come in because he works shifts and it was late night, and I just like splurged all of these story ideas, and we were bouncing ideas off each other really excitedly, and I just felt really, really good about it. That's what kind of gave me the inspiration to go out and buy a load of children's books. I already have a shelf full of children's books that I've collected over time because I love the artwork and stuff anyway, but I went out and it was 10 for £10. 10 children's books for £10. Are you kidding me? £1 a book. I don't know how on earth they afford to sell children's books for £1. Like, that's actually crazy to me, to be honest. But I ended up picking up loads that I love the art style of, and that I like the look of the story. Like, look how beautiful that looks. So over the next few months, I really want to take my time and go to bookshops and libraries and look at the illustrations and details and build up this collection of things that I love and don't love, and get inspired by illustration and start exploring my illustration again. And when I was in Japan, I actually picked up a bunch of Japanese children's books as well, which I need to bring into the studio. But I'm going to put these on the shelves, and I'm going to try and find time every day to draw just a little bit, whether it's sketches. Like, look how beautiful those illustrations are, by the way. It's so nice. And I'd even like to sit down and just every morning kind of read and look through these books and get inspired by other artists that I follow. I love Instagram for that, because you can follow other artists and get really inspired by them. Oh guys, I'm just feeling really like excited, but I'm also really tired. I'm due on my period and I feel so gross today. I actually feel a bit sick and nauseous, and I don't know what's going on there, but anyway. Oh, also I got this. Let me show you this. This is the Disneyland colouring book. How good is this? And it's got all the Disney theme parks. This was also from the works. As you go around, it's got like the Dapper Dan's Big Thunder Mountain. And I actually had a few comments about a colouring book for Katnipp, and I also want my colouring books to also go through the season, so I would love a set of 4 books for each season, and they're all themed for that season, so you can get out the spring book in spring and colour Bonbon and Bumblebutt and Tulips. And I actually think I might be able to do that this year in preparation for publishing my children's books the year after, because I feel like colouring books might be a great learning curve before publishing my own children's books, because I'll learn how to lay out the pages, get them printed off and stuff like that. So I actually think colouring books may be on the cards this year for Katnipp. So we'll see if I can do that. I might actually start planning that in my sketchbook when we go on this trip together. Anyway, I'm totally rambling on. I don't even know if people are going to be still sticking around. I've been talking for 14 minutes. I'm going to have to cut so much out, honestly. Sorry about my rambling. But anyway, today I am actually editing today, so it's going to be a really relaxing day. And then I'll be packing up and we'll be going to Italy. So it's Saturday tomorrow, and then we are setting off to Manchester on Sunday, and then 2 days in Italy, then back in the studio. So I'm actually going to get my iPad out right now, because I started doing a Bumblebutt sketch, and I am going to finish off my Bumblebutt sketch and post it to Bumblebutt's new official character account on Instagram. Let's go, shall we?
Things to do, okay, to leave a little bit undone, and be the cat in the sun. Be the cat in the sun. Set aside every empty spreadsheet line and loosen up on the grind. Simmer down, settle back and mess around. Be the cat in the sun. Someday I will see the whole deal through today. I've got better things to do, okay, to leave a little bit undone. Be the cat in the sun. Be the cat in the sun.